We'll move on to Cincy, which has struggled to find its way in the Big 12, unlike BYU, um, and teams like Arizona State. But yeah, they're coming off a 5-7, 3-6 season. Um, which, by the way, the BYU segment take the over. I'm taking the over 6.5 wins for the win total. But yeah, they're coming off a 5-7 season, 3-6. Returned 10 starters, 4 on offense, 6 on defense. Now, you'll I'll just save it for later. Anyway, they returned Brendan Sorsby, a quarterback who went 249 and 389, 64% completion percentage, 2,813 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions, and then had 9 rushing touchdowns. Joe Royer, a tight end who had 50 total catches for 522 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jake Goldie, a linebacker who had 58 total tackles, 28 solos, a sack and a half, 2 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. Antoine Peak Jr. safety, who had 56 total tackles, 33 solos, a pass breakup, and 4 forced fumbles. Dante Corleone, a defensive lineman who had 26 total tackles, 14 solos, and 3.5 sacks. Jaquan Saints, a safety who had 42 total tackles, 23 solos, a pass breakup, and a forced fumble. They did lose Corey Kiner, huge part of Cincinnati last year, the running back, who had 204 carries, 1,153 yards, 5.7 a carry, and 4 touchdowns, trying to make the 49ers. Xavier Henderson, the wide receiver, had 59 catches for 738 yards and 4 touchdowns. Tony Johnson, a wide receiver, who had 48 catches, 449 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Jared Bartlett, a linebacker, who had 69 total tackles, 34 solos, 7.5 sacks, and 3 pass breakups, trying to make the Packers. Derek Canteen, a defensive back, who had 44 total tackles, 29 solos, 5 pass breakups, interception, and a forced fumble, trying to make the 49ers as well. And then Jordan Young, a defensive back, 35 total tackles, 19 solos, 5 pass breakups, transferred to Arkansas. And Eric Phillips, a defensive end, total tackles, 14 solos, 4 sacks, and a forced fumble. Now, they were 62nd in overall recruiting class, but 46 in transfers. They brought in some transfers like Xavier Williams, a transfer safety from Middle Tennessee State, 75 total tackles, 54 solos, 3 pass breakups, an interception, and a fumble recovery. Tally Walker looking to step right in and replace Corey Kiner's production, running back from Wisconsin, who was a tough runner. Had 190 carries for 864 yards, 4.5 a carry, and 10 touchdowns. They bring in Matthew McDoom, a cornerback from Coastal Carolina, who was pretty locked down in the Sun Belt. 36 total tackles, 27 solos, 10 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, and a fumble recovery. And Cyrus Allen, a receiver at Texas A&M, trying to rejuvenate his career. He had 18 catches for 269 yards and a touchdown. And Jeff Caldwell, a receiver from Lindenwood, who had a pretty great year at Lindenwood, but can he do this at the Division I level? Who had 52 catches, 1,011 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Well, FBS level, I should say. 36 total on offense, and 36 in total offense, 85th in total defense, 55th in passing, 36th in rushing, 89th in scoring offense, 73rd in passing defense, 85th in rushing defense, and 62nd in scoring defense. What happened in the schedule where they start off at Arrowhead against Nebraska, where I have this as a loss. Then they play at home against Bowling Green, which I do have this as a win. Then they play at home against Northwestern State, which I have as a win. Then they go on the road to Kansas, which I have this as a loss. At home against Iowa State, I have this as a loss. At home against UCF, I have this as a loss. On the road against Oklahoma State, I do have this as a win. At home against Baylor, I have this as a loss. On the road against Utah, I have this as a loss. At home against Arizona, I have it as a loss. And at home against BYU, I have it as a loss. Finishing on the road against TCU, I have it as a loss, going 3-9, 1-8. Now, majority of the reason why I'm so low on Cincinnati is, like I said earlier, Brendan Sorsby. I'm not really a huge Brendan Sorsby guy, quarterback, and then they bring him back. I don't think that they win a lot of games with him under center or under the helm. I do like the fact that Tyree Walker comes in and replaces Corey Kiner, but they won 5 games with Corey Kiner as the lead guy, and I do think Tyree Walker is very talented, but I don't know how many more games they win with just him alone. And they do lose some big production at receiver. They try to replace it, but who knows how well that works. And with them being, I want to say, a pretty solid defensive team, but not an elite defensive team, it's kind of a lot to overcome there. So I'm just not high on Cincinnati this season. But we'll move on to
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.